roll.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I've got all my names mixed up. Chair Cash Parker,
Here.
Lauren Cooper,
Here.
Hannah Miles, absent. Melinda Ellswick,
Here.
Matt Crabtree is absent this evening. CJ Cullinan is absent. And Ken Chu.
Here.
Okay, and then from staff, it's just Eric Sampson.
Great. All right. Well, that brings us to approval of the minutes from the July 19th meeting. Is there any discussion or changes to those minutes? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve.
Eric, CJ's here.
Okay, noted CJ as present.
I'll move that we approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from July 19th. All in favor, say aye.
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 One abstention.
And I'm an aye. So that motion carries with 4 ayes and 1 abstention. Public forum, I don't see anyone from the public here, although I think this is our first time doing this on Teams. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's correct. Both Shelley and Nancy had other things going on tonight, so that's why we're doing this on Teams. Since I actually know how to go and press record and all that good stuff.
I personally actually prefer Teams, but it's not a big deal. But there are no members of the public. Am I right about that?
That is correct.
Okay. That brings us into new business. There's just one item that I put on here for new business this month, which was, as probably some or all of you are aware, there is a CodeNext public hearing on the 21st next week at 7 p.m., which my understanding, and Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that is the opportunity for any citizen to comment in front of council. That's that entire session. Is that right?
Yep.
So I raise it for discussion as it's pertinent to the historic preservation ordinance. I mean, we've discussed that in more than one session with council, study sessions, and it looks like it's on its way to passing. I don't know that we need someone to go and comment in favor of the ordinance, but it certainly probably wouldn't hurt if folks are interested in doing that. But I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on that.
Well, I
And
am
then
on
you
record
guys-
for saying something at the planning and zoning.
And then you guys got my email that the Planning and Zoning Commission added that amendment and recommended the 65% down from 75, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And Cash, I'm kind of with you that, we don't seem to have had any pushback on it recently, other than that, percentage change. So I don't see the need to go. I agree that it can't hurt, but I think it's kind of, I feel like at this point we've done a lot and maybe done all we can.
Yeah, and maybe if their attention is focused on other matters, our portion of the ordinance will be passed without much further discussion or debate.
Well, and I'll bring up
Have
the
we
idea
gotten?
too. Go ahead, Melinda. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I would say, have we gotten our resolution read into the thing to where it's modifying it?
Well,
Because as it is right now, are they going to pass it with the 75%?
So they've
it
received
should be
a
changed.
recommendation from Planning and Zoning to change the 75 to 65. And your resolution was also included in their packet, council's packet for the meeting. So they have that as well.
So they'll have to amend it before final passage, acting on hopefully our resolution and the recommendation of planning and zoning. And Eric, when is that on the schedule? The final passage after this public comment hearing, is that set?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's basically because we don't know how long it's going to take to get through public comment and how much discussion council is going to have. So it may be over the course of 2, 3, maybe even 4 meetings. So it's really up in the air at this point.
Do you know whether this is what would be nice if we had someone assigned as a council liaison? Are they trying to do it before the election? Is that
I believe so.
Either one of the elections?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't know whether anyone else watched the interviews with the potential replacements for Shell Wink. However, there were 4 final candidates. 2 of them were people who were on the Planning and Zoning Commission, who had recommended CodeNext, and a third was actually spoke out in favor of it in a council meeting. So on Monday, when they were supposedly going to decide on who to appoint for the next 2 months, they decided that those 3 people had a conflict of interest, and so it ended up once again they didn't appoint anybody. So the council only has 6 members on
No,
it.
they seated somebody.
Who?
Was it PJ? Does that name ring a bell?
Well, he's the one that spoke in favor of it, so.
Yeah, and yeah, he was seated on Monday.
PJ Colink.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
PJ.
How do you know the name? Cash?
I just looked it up on the Inglewood City Council website.
You're so quick.
Like I say, I watched the meeting on Monday until I got disgusted.
Well,
Because
see,
it
that's
seemed
the
like they
problem.
were.
You didn't stay till the end.
Well, and the other point is, I don't know whether anybody else knows that our own Matt Crabtree is running for city council. So it better not be him that makes any recommendations before council, because they'll try to disqualify him or make him recuse. So I think they're opposed to voting on CodeNext at any point soon.
We'll see.
Eric, do you know, because this is public comment, so if anyone were to go, I mean, you're free to go if you want, obviously, anybody who can. Are there any more sessions set? Probably not, or probably unknown, for boards and commissions to weigh in on any part of CodeNext, or is that kind of an unknown?
I think that's probably done with at this point.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That makes sense too.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously it's up to you in your capacities as citizens of the city if you want to comment on it. I don't feel a need to organize, any of us to go comment, as we discussed earlier, just because there's been so much, and we sent the resolution, planning and zoning made the recommendation. So I would hope that they would. I think our resolution says 60%. I think planning and zoning said 65%. Is that right,
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah.
Either way, I don't see that as a huge difference. So if they change it to adopt either one of those, I think that's a win. And then the rest of it for the last, I don't know, 9 months or a year, the last time we were in front of council, there, when Eric and Brian and I fielded some of their questions, there really wasn't any questions about anything other than that district designation requirement. So to me, it seems like the rest of it's on track to pass, which is
That's
good.
pretty awesome if you ask me. It's pretty awesome.
And if somebody would like to go and speak in public comment, not in relation to anything with historic preservation, just please bookend your statement with you were there as a citizen of Inglewood and not on behalf of the Historic Preservation Commission.
Yeah, I came close to getting in trouble for that.
That makes sense, Eric. Thank you. That brings us, that's actually a good segue into the old business, because the first item is the resolution for district designations and presentation to council. And it sounds like, was it the last meeting that was in their packet, Eric, or is it this upcoming meeting where they're taking public comment?
It should be this meeting, I believe.
Okay. So that will go to council and it's in there. And I think that actually worked out well timing wise, that it'll be received by council essentially simultaneously with planning and zoning's recommendation to lower that threshold. Is that right, Eric? This is kind of the first time they're getting planning and zoning's recommendation on that too.
Yep.
So that seems good. I don't have anything further to discuss about that. I just wanted to make sure that was on track, and Eric said it was. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions or thoughts about our resolution.
Oh, I'm pretty impressed that we only have one.
All right. This has been on the agenda the last couple of meetings, and Eric, sorry, I feel like I'm punting a lot to you this meeting, so thanks for all your help.
He's a good receiver.
Yeah, right. The in-person meetings, I know September had been our target date, which is next month, which seems crazy. Is that, are we set for that? And is there a hybrid option available so that people, if someone can't make it in person, that they can attend virtually?
So, so right now we are planning on having the HPC in person back in the meeting room next to community development on the 3rd floor of the Civic Center. At this time, we're going to need to play as staff with the hybrid option to see if that we can get that working in that room, because I know in the past there have been some issues with the hybrid option. So we're going to try as best as we can to get that established and ready to go in September. If not, if for some reason it's not going to be hybrid, I will let you know by the time the agenda goes out. So
yeah,
we can plan accordingly.
If it doesn't work with the equipment in that room, and maybe this doesn't comport with all the open meetings stuff for having to record it, but couldn't you just, like, for instance, couldn't I bring my laptop and set it up and you can record the meeting on Teams just like we are now, but have it sitting on the table? Or is that not kosher with open meeting stuff?
That is a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, we haven't used that little recording device that I used to bring since pre-COVID, so I don't even know where that is at. But I'm guessing we should be able to do something like that, what you mentioned, Cash.
Yeah.
And at least get it on record somehow. But I think we'll cross that bridge once we figure out if we can make it a super fancy hybrid meeting.
Yeah, and I mean, even if we had to do that, set up somebody's laptop or iPad or whatever, to your point, Eric, I didn't even think about that. It's probably easier from your perspective to not have to tape record it and just record it via Teams or Zoom, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer just kind of doing it like we're doing this tonight, because I'm recording this meeting and I'm just setting up my laptop and in the room and
Yeah.
going that direction. So
Yeah, and I mean, to be clear, it's certainly just this meeting for now. I mean, I think we work well virtually, and the hybrid option is good because when people, which is a lot of us, have travel for work and other things, it's easy to get on board with the meeting. And so I think it's increased attendance and is better. But, you know, I obviously would enjoy seeing all of you, but also just trying to respect what council is asking us to do so that we can at least say we've had an in-person meeting.
yeah.
And where do we meet? 3rd floor?
Yep, 3rd floor by
Is that where
community
we used to
development.
meet?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, same room that everybody's been in except for Ken. So if somebody would
something new, Ken.
guide Ken that evening, that would be awesome.
It's right above the library though, right?
Yep.
Well.
And the
of
doors will be open
course.
to it. It'll be, because we'll have, we have to notify security of the late meeting and all that good stuff. So you should be able to find it pretty easy.
I'm sure you will, Eric, but will you just remind me when I do the agenda that one's going to be in person next
Sure.
month? Thanks.
Sure, absolutely. And then I think we're good to do kind of what we talked about, do it meeting in person once a quarter. And I think we're good to move forward with that plan unless we
Yeah.
hear something different from council.
Yay.
Sounds like a reasonable plan to me.
It saves 2 hours of our life.
Yeah.
And is that on the 13th or the 20th? Do you guys know?
I think it's the
20th.
20th.
Okay, great.
20, yeah.
Yeah, third Wednesday is September 20th.
Something I didn't think about until Matt and I were talking was the idea that our terms are coming up. And that hasn't been brought up at all. And I'm thinking it's pretty darn close. I think it's January.
So that's
It's
usually
July.
either Shelley or Nancy that is in charge
So is
of
that
that.
something you're going to check with then, Eric?
Yeah, I can.
I mean, for us not to have notice, I think we should have known 6 months in advance so that, we could plan replacements, huh?
Yeah, let me check with
Yeah,
Nancy and I'll get back to you.
I don't remember. I don't think my term's up. I don't.
No,
Who's
just Matt
No,
and me.
yours isn't. It's Lauren and CJ and Matt and me.
Oh, you
We're
two.
all about to be term limited out.
No way, not Lauren, not Melinda.
Yep.
Yeah, because we all started when the HPC started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, we're all
And that, well, and then, so no, I think we actually expire in 2025 though. Because
I think
we
that's right.
started
I didn't
in
think it was
17.
quite.
Are you
And
sure?
that was
I
a
really thought
4-year
it was
term.
this next year. Ah,
It
well,
was
that's
a
why they
4-year
didn't give us a
term
6-month
to
notice.
21 and then a second 4-year term. So that'd make it 25.
I feel like some of them were 3-year terms though, to get it staggered.
I
Yeah,
know we tried to get to
yeah.
that, so you're right. We started out differently, huh?
I
Well,
had a
and-
short. I had a shorter term to start. I'm pretty sure. So what, Eric? I'm going to try to make a note to myself about this. Let's just put this on the agenda just for next month to figure out
Just
whose
to
terms.
report terms.
Yeah.
It's not fair. I mean, there was a group that I was with that they always had next to their name when their terms were, just not that we always have to. I'm just saying it'd be good information.
I think we originally had a roster of us all that did say when our terms expired.
Well, of course, you would know that.
And I probably have that somewhere.
No,
I'm
Melinda's
the
Or
amazing.
Nancy.
She's got
details
that
person,
info.
right?
All right.
Yeah. Well, we can go over that next month because I would like to remember when mine expires.
When are Wednesdays free, huh?
Not that I'm
We'll all
looking.
be gone and only Ken will be left.
Well, and the idea
actually,
is
my
that I
term's
so
only
wanted
2
to be a
years.
part of that initiation of who's going to put the plaque on their building. You know what I mean? I want to make that a big deal.
I'm not saying you can't be like an honorary guest.
Yes. You'll for sure be invited.
Good point. But if it's just right, I got a whole nother year to bother you, Eric.
That's okay.
That leads us to the Pinyon survey, and I know this has just been kind of an ongoing month to month as people have had time to work through their properties, and I won't call on everyone, but if anyone wants to volunteer an update of where they're at and how it's going and what remains to be done, I'll hear from anyone who would like to chime in.
Well, I don't know if Melinda shared or not, but she did all of mine. So mine are almost done. But there are actually 4 properties that she's asked me to check up on. And so My plan is actually to visit those properties this weekend. So after this weekend, I should actually be done with my entire list. Well,
Nice.
Melinda should be done with my entire list.
Hey, you're going out into the field. That's an important part.
And you're utilizing your resources.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and of course, he let me have the fun of doing the research because I do regard it as fun. I know that's sick, but
No, it's great.
But I also, discovered some mysterious things that I think, and if Ken, if you find things that properties that you think should be added, then because I know Matt found some, I found a couple, and Lauren, you did too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that we can add to it.
I have a question. How many do we have now, or how many are we waiting on? Because I feel like we've got the majority, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been done with mine for a while, so I think we're close. We can
What do you
we can
think,
check.
Linda?
Well, we haven't seen Hannah in several months,
Mm.
and we don't know where she is in that. In fact, I think we have something in our bylaws that says if a member doesn't show up for a certain number of meetings, then we can, but we should reach out to her first. But
I'll send her an email and see if everything's okay. And
Yeah, I haven't heard from her. Eric, I think, as you know, anytime anyone contacts me separately, I always forward it to you or CC you. Okay, well, we can circle back on that again next month, but sounds like we're close on that one, so that came together nicely. Thanks, Melinda, for all your work on that.
What are we gonna do with this?
So next step is I'm going to get communications involved, and they're going to take all of your information and plug it into their interactive map that they have been working on. And yes, that's where all that information will go.
So the people that are newly added, or well, we don't, even Pinyon's group, the owners of those property don't know that they've been focused on by Historic Preservation Commission, right?
That's correct.
So I'm thinking somehow, I don't know if it's a letter or a postcard, but maybe we should say congratulations, blah. I don't, it just seems like to me like we have to do some sort of community move it forward. The map thing is a very passive. You have to go in to use it. So for all of you guys to do so much work, and for it to just be considered a footnote on somebody just hitting something, I think we need to take the more assertive, welcome or celebrate, or what do you want to move forward? This is our program. Yeah. After CodeNext is, once CodeNext is done, obviously we can fly with stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And Eric, maybe, I don't know if it's next meeting or the one after, once we're kind of buttoned up on this project with where we're at with the research, maybe we can get somebody from communications to come to one of our meetings to have a discussion about, is there a way to do like a targeted outreach to certain properties that have been identified, and, include information about landmark designation process and all of that. So that might be something maybe a couple meetings from now to think about doing.
Well, I don't think
Definitely.
It's a bad idea to go ahead and think of it now, that we don't have a fixed system. It's already August. So, and then we already know November and December gets kind of wrapped up in other things. So I throw out the idea that we could still start that thinking process or brainstorming process this next meeting.
Let me see if Madeline would be able to attend.
Yeah, I think
Madeline isn't the communications person. She's just the well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it that way. She's the community outreach person.
Yeah, but she's in the communications.
Yeah, but she's kind of part of the communications department as well. They work hand in hand.
Huh.
So
Well, and
the other
we've,
thing, too, the other thing,
identified-
oh, I was just gonna say, the other thing is CodeNext has to pass before we can dole out information, I think, about getting a landmark designation. It actually has to be the law before we can start telling people about that, just because it's not gonna do people any good until it's actually in the municipal code.
But again, this part hasn't been up for discussion, so we're kind of lucky there. The chances of it being pulled out is nil. And we seem to take forever to get something done. So I was thinking if we could at least just even in pencil, write down who would we want to contact? What would we want to say? Just even say, is this something you're interested in? Because it may be a landowner that says, no way, I'm not going to do any work. I don't know.
While we're on this discussion, it's kind of a sidebar, but I mean, maybe we could loop in like the Downtown Development Authority, because I know the Pinyon survey didn't, like what we did with the Pinyon survey didn't necessarily focus on that, but that right there is like a core historic district. And if they're, regardless of the landmarking designation, like whether we can do that, like they can still be a National Register district. And that's beneficial to them, so it's the same idea of outreach to different groups or individuals in the community that would benefit from being designated as historic.
Mm-hmm. And so you're thinking having somebody from that development committee come to our meeting or just read up stuff?
Either or, it's just, just thought I had.
That's a good idea. Well, and we've kind of also, I think, had ideas of potential neighborhoods or districts that, and while we wouldn't maybe want to jump the gun and reach out to an entire district, but we could, start a rumor that.
Well, no, but that's where Madeline's thing is, so if those districts that we're thinking of happen to have community captains or whatever the titles of those people are that Madeline has been working with, that has a type of a captain, if I may, to their neighborhood, then it's already starting. Does that make sense? The ball's rolling, so to speak. So that's a good idea, Eric. Madeline it is. Madeline!
Sounds good. I'll ask her if she's around for September.
Please.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, put that on the agenda.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. The last item that I had on the old business was just the potential CLG follow-up, and I don't think there's anything necessarily to do with it, but I thought the presentation was informative is she your colleague, Lauren? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so she works at the State Historic Preservation Office. I work at CDOT, so both state agencies.
Right. I obviously, again, it's a situation where CodeNext has to pass in its current form before we can have any further discussions about that. But I think, and Lauren, I'm kind of looking to you on this. I mean, I think the format that CodeNext is in is sufficient to be a CLG, but we would just have to go through the process of being designated, right?
Yeah, that's correct. But I also wonder, since CodeNext is so in flux, like we already have a preservation ordinance. I wonder if we could even start now.
Someone made a comment, though, I swear, way back when, what was that gentleman that was the head of the History Colorado, Rodman?
Mark Rodman, yeah.
Yeah, he said that ordinance wasn't strong enough.
Oh, okay. I don't recall that, but that makes sense.
No, I mean, because it gives us no powers, no abilities. It just sort of basically says, yeah, we've got a historic preservation commission. That's it.
Well,
Okay.
and I'll go ahead and say even CodeNext doesn't really, I mean, I am truly impressed how much of CLG info we did get in there. But I can't say, Cash, that I feel that it is CLG appropriate? I mean, I don't think that actually moves us forward to be
yeah,
a
it does.
CLG. You do, huh?
Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
So,
I'm
okay,
glad, Cash. All right.
a large part of the ordinance was crafted on suggested language from History Colorado.
Mhm. Yeah, because I think as I understand it, and I'm no expert in it, but having a process where a landmark is designated and approved by a commission and by the council and then enjoys protections of some kind or another versus over modification or demolition or what have you. I think those are the key things, which that the ordinance would give us. I mean, it would give us that power to make that designation, subject to the council, of course, approving it or rejecting it. And
Oh, thank you, guys. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Cool. Because I was thinking CLG next 10 years. Okay, cool.
Oh, and I might also point out, Ken, since you were out of the country at the time,
Excuses.
if you haven't seen that meeting on YouTube and everything with the presentation on CLGs, look for it. That'll catch you up to speed.
Yep.
You better watch where that little thumb goes up. It looked like it was right at your nose.
I don't know how to do those tricky things.
I know. Well, it says raise right there. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know that there's more to do until the CodeNext passes on that one, but I just wanted to raise it again since we had that discussion. So hopefully that CodeNext passes this year, but it's taken a long time, of course, to get there. So we'll see what happens with that.
Well, I know that some people are hoping it'll be done before their election comes up, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, because there's unlikely to be a quorum afterwards, or
Well,
possibly
no,
the
the quorum
council
thing
will
is
not have a quorum until after November.
well, no, the quorum is still okay because they already have the Wink seat filled. Does that make sense?
Yes, but there's
So
a
now you're
recall
only
election
talking
coming
3.
up.
No, but that's only 3 people. That doesn't ruin the quorum.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was 4, yes, it would have ruined the quorum, but
Okay.
anyway.
Staff's choice. Eric, do you have anything?
Nope, I don't have anything this time around.
Eric, you're supposed to go crazy about the Inglewood block party coming up.
Oh, wow, yeah. There's the block party coming up. Totally, I didn't even, that's totally off my radar at the moment. I didn't even know that was coming up.
It really is just kind of fun. I think it's.
I was there, I ran the history booth 2 years ago.
No way.
Yeah, when we were doing the surveys for Pinyon.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, no, that was a blast.
Huh. I mean, it's just a variety of people in a variety of emotions.
CJ, do you want to start off commissioner's choice then?
Me? Well, there's the block party on August 26th, and I'm really excited. No, I'm only kidding. I also did not bring who is speaking next. I guess I don't know who's speaking next with the historic Inglewood. I keep needing to throw society in there.
It's about amusement parks in Denver. I don't know who it is, but I saw the email.
Thank you.
I noticed that.
What's his name? He spoke on the Tiki rooms on the last one. He's one of those guys like Melinda that is so data oriented and information. He worked for Blackhawk or Central City. He was actually there. That the museum director. And so, and then he's the one that gave us a tour of Lakeside. And he's very knowledgeable. And I wish I could remember. I can't believe his name's not coming to the top of my head. But that would be the last Monday of the next month, October. So it must be Halloween week. Anyway, there's that. And then, this is odd to bring it up so soon, but next year is Arapahoe Acres 75th anniversary. And I think we should make it kind of big. Now, we did the 70th and we thought we did really big, but not many people came. This time we're talking about doing lectures for homeowners on how to honor their mid-century modern history, windows, roofs. Someone even just said how to use the state tax credit, to have a lecture on that. So we're looking to have 4 or 5 lectures just for the residents and owners of Arapahoe Acres throughout the year. The next thing was on Neighborhood Night Out, was that week maybe do a big street party here where we would have some music and stuff and talk about the history, have walking tours, and then also raise some money for that with walking and or garden tours throughout the year. So if you guys like individually come up with an idea, I still haven't coordinated a date for employees of Inglewood, the city of Inglewood, to come and take a tour, but that would be this fall. That's not going to be next year. If anybody has any ideas that kind of crossed their mind, or they went to a neighborhood or a district thing and they thought, oh, that was so cool, they did this, please give me whatever information or ideas you might have. And that's it.
Thanks.
Oh, and I just checked the speaker is, his name is David Forsyth.
Thank you. I knew that. I knew that.
Melinda, anything for Commissioner's Choice?
No, I don't think so. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks. Lauren, anything for Commissioner's Choice?
Nothing for me.
Ken, Commissioner's Choice, anything?
Not me, thank you.
Okay. I don't have anything either, so that brings us to the end. If someone would like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded, so we'll stand adjourned at 7:10 p.m. Thank you all. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thanks
Lauren,
everybody.
family picture. There's no family picture with the kids and stuff. I mean,
not in this room.
how did you go this long without having the children involved?
Oh, Sally's right here next to me.
Ah, Sally's the quiet